Is PlayStation Now finally becoming Game Pass? You gotta hear about these Elden Ring reviews. Are we not getting a Call of Duty in 2023? And we finally know what games we're getting for free on PlayStation Plus in March. Let's find out about all this in today's jam-packed episode of PlayStation News. So by the time you see this video, we either have a few hours to wait for Elden Ring or it will already be out. Again, depending on when you watch it. And man, I am so excited after seeing these reviews. I talked about it in the last video. I was already hyped for this game just because the idea of open world Dark Souls sounds so incredibly awesome to me, and I'm glad that From Software waited as long as they did to make it, because they can finally combine all of the things they learned on Dark Souls, Demon Souls, Bloodborne, and Sekiro into one massive game that really is supposed to be their magnum opus. I've watched a few of the reviews. I highly recommend Skill Ups because there's no real spoilers in it, and man, it looks so much better than I was even expecting. The real video to watch if you want to go in completely blind but know what kind of game this is the 6.5-minute overview video Namco Bandai put out just a few days ago, because it explains everything about the game that you need to know. It explains how the map works, it explains the overall flow of the game without spoiling anything major like bosses or huge parts of the map. The craziest thing to me is how long this game is. There are multiple reviewers on Twitter talking about how they're 50 or even 60 hours in and they're just hitting the halfway point of the game. I think that really comes down to the fact that there's so many bosses just absolutely littered all over the map, and that sounds like so much fun. The thing that really is going to make this the most fun for me compared to other Souls games is the fact that if a boss is completely stomping your ass, you can just run away, level up, get some new summons, get some new weapons, get a new armor set, come back later, and then you will do the stomping. I even heard of some reviewers saying that they were one-shotting bosses by the end of the game, and just having that power in a Dark Souls game sounds awesome, because right after that they said, yeah, that I beat that boss in one try, and then right after that I went into a dungeon and got my ass stomped again and had to go level up. It seems like the balance has finally been figured out, and that kind of adds up to this summation that people have, which is this is the most accessible Souls-like game without being the easiest, which is kind of confusing. I think I just have to play it for myself, but yeah, if you're playing on PS5, it's coming out around midnight your time, aka 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, which is when I'll be playing it. The PC players really won out here because for some reason it launches at 3 p.m. Pacific Time, aka 6 p.m. Eastern, which is awesome for them, but bad for us. Like, they should release it all that early because I just really want to play this game. I've just completely given up on Dying Light 2 at this point. It's embarrassing the state that that game released in, and the fact that every subsequent patch since it came out has broke it even more. It started out with errors like, you know, you'd get some frame drops here and there, and now they have a bug where if you die, you can't keep playing the game because there's a death loop, or quests break and you can't continue them, and there's no real way to roll your save back far enough to guarantee that you'll be able to get past that point. It's a bummer that a game I waited 7 years for doesn't work, but between the Witch Queen, which is the best Destiny expansion I've ever played, bar none, and now Elden Ring, I'm gonna be busy for a while. And yeah, I guess I'll just come back to Dying Light 2 in about 6 months when it's out of early access and give that one a shot. And just to really put into perspective how good the review scores are for Elden Ring, this might be the best reviewed game of all time. Like, there are just so many 10s across the board, and it's bottoming out at a 9. I haven't seen a single score go below a 9, which is like reserved for games like The Last of Us Part 1 or BioShock, just games that are generational. Like, they only come around once a generation, and to see Elden Ring be that game after years and years of Dark Souls releases, absolutely loving them, and hearing people say that, oh, I don't want to play that because it's too hard. Yeah, this feels pretty good, and I am excited to finally dig into Elden Ring. It feels like we've been waiting a long time for this. I know that Sekiro was pretty recent, right? Like, I think that came out in like 2019, I want to say, but it doesn't really feel like a Souls game to me. I really feel like I've been waiting for this one since Dark Souls 3. So we're still in the fallout period of the whole Microsoft buying Activision deal. They came out and said, no, we are not going to make exclusive games out of Activision properties, at least for the time being. And then they doubled down and clarified that no, Call of Duty is going to stay multi-platform. Don't worry, the government, we can buy Activision, and it is not going to make us a monopoly. Please let us buy Activision and break in the money off of Call of Duty. That's basically the point where we're at right now. But there's some new stuff coming out that kind of seems like it's at least just a little bit influenced by this whole Microsoft deal, because surprisingly, for the first time since 2005, there will not be a Call of Duty game in 2023, at least a full paid one, right? Like, Treyarch was supposed to have a game come out in 2023. I think they got pushed back a little bit because they had to help with Black Ops Cold War at the last second. They needed more time, and now Activision is saying, yeah, we're going to give them the time they need, and in the meantime, we are going to release a free-to-play Call of Duty game. Now, that's what really made me think this was worth talking about, because we know the Call of Duty game we're getting this year is Modern Warfare 2, and I don't play a ton of Call of Duty games. I kind of got in the trap of buying them, playing them for like 2 days, and then bouncing off. But man, that Call of Duty Modern Warfare remake was just so damn good that if they follow it up well, I will be there day one for this game. But the interesting thing about that is that they're also apparently releasing Warzone 2, and that's going to be the game where they've acknowledged that they really screwed up Warzone 1 over time, and they're just going to start over, start from scratch, and make the Warzone game that people really want. So knowing that that's going to be the free-to-play game in 2022, are they going to do Warzone 3 in 2023? Are they going to do a Spec Ops style game? Like the possibilities, absolutely crazy. Like what are they going to do? It seems kind of weird to make another free-to-play Call of Duty to go up against your already massive free-to-play Call of Duty. I'm just really honestly curious about what that's going to be, because maybe it's something like Rainbow Six Siege, maybe it's something like Escape from Tarkov. And there's a few good moves they can make, but there's also a lot of bad moves. I don't know, I'm just really curious how this whole Microsoft Activision thing is going to shake out. The game that I'm most curious how it's going to affect is Diablo 4. That's the game I'm most hyped for from Blizzard. I kind of had my hype shaken a little bit just hearing about all the crazy stuff that's going on there, but once this game is in Microsoft's hands, hopefully they can kind of shape it into something better than what it looked like it was going to turn out to be. One weird thing about this whole situation is that Activision actually responded to the rumors that there wasn't going to be a paid Call of Duty game in 2023, but I don't know. I feel like in their mind, it's not delayed until they delay it. We've seen stuff like this happen before, and just knowing the turmoil and the stuff that's happening in Activision, like I don't need to really go into it here. I think there's grounds to believe that this rumor is real. It just makes sense. You know, Treyarch had to help with Black Ops Cold War. They probably need extra time on the game, and knowing that Activision is trying to sell themselves to Microsoft, if the government's going to let them, they want to make sure that they're dotting their T's and crossing their I's. You don't need a huge Call of Duty disaster like you had this year with Vanguard just to screw up the entire deal right at the finish line. You know, there's a lot of stuff that can still go wrong with their deal, so just delaying Call of Duty to the following year, let Microsoft handle it once it's in their hands. That kind of seems like the smartest option for Activision here. So yeah, we're gonna have to keep our eye on this one, and I know there's potentially a free-to-play game coming, but this is crazy. The first time Activision is not releasing a game since 2005 in the Call of Duty series that's just a mainline game. The weirdest and closest they've ever gotten to that is Black Ops 4, where it came out and it was just multiplayer, and everyone kind of hated that, so I don't think they're keen on doing that again. So I don't think I'm gonna make anyone upset by saying that the PS Plus games have been pretty lackluster the past couple months, and it seems like Sony is actually listening, because we got the official games for this month and they are really good. The first thing we're getting on the side is GTA Online. That's coming out on PlayStation 5. It's going to be free for PlayStation Plus users to download on the PS5 for 3 months after it comes out. I think that's a bad PS Plus offering. We've talked about that before. We're going to skip right over that one. So then there was this rumor that Sifu, a game that came out a couple weeks ago, was going to be on PS Plus in March because there was a little PS Plus badge next to it on people's accounts when you would log into the PlayStation Store. Thankfully, that isn't true. It would have been sweet to get that game for free with PlayStation Plus, but I don't think Sony really wanted the PR nightmare that comes along with making a game that came out 3 weeks before a free PS Plus game. Like, it would be cool for people at PS Plus, but it would be bad for people who shelled out $50 to play that game early and also didn't get to play it early because it broke when it was supposed to unlock. So yeah, I'm glad that they're not doing that for PS Plus. So the first game you're getting on PS5, this is like a native PS5 release, is Ghost Runner. If you haven't heard of this game, it's basically like Hotline Miami mixed with Dishonored and Titanfall's free running. It's one of those games where you kill everyone in pretty much one hit, but they also kill you in one hit. The graphics are awesome. I've been playing a ton of this game lately on PC because I have another channel called Deck Ready where I talk about the Steam Deck, and I was playing Ghost Runner on a competitor handheld, the Aya Neo Next, and I was like, damn, this game's pretty good. So if you haven't played it, I highly recommend checking it out because it's going to be free on PlayStation 5. It also has really good graphics and runs really well. So if you want a game that's going to seem like it's pushing your PS5 to the limit despite running extremely well, this is a great candidate, and you could probably beat it in a few hours. It's not a very long game. The next game, I'm going to be real, is my least favorite on the list. It's Team Sonic Racing. It's a kart racer like Mario Kart. It's got pretty good reviews. People seem to like it. This is a good filler game for PS Plus because it's not broken. It's Sonic. It's a lot of fun. People seem to like it. But yeah, it's not for me. If you're looking for a survival game, you're also going to get Ark Survival Evolved. This is like the survival game where you can tame dinosaurs and ride them around. I remember when this game came out because it had a lot of controversy on PC where they were releasing DLC while it was still in early access. Like, they released an entire expansion, and now they're working on Ark Mark II with Vin Diesel, but I know a ton of people like my friend Ray over at Xbox Ready have put a ton of hours into this game and people really enjoy it. I've always wanted to kind of dig into it. I was waiting for the early access period to end, and then it ended, and then it kind of just got away from me a little bit, but knowing that it's going to be free to play on my PlayStation next month, like that seems like a good time to jump in. Thinking back to when Mortal Kombat X without any of its DLC was on PS Plus, I think this one's probably going to annoy people just a little bit because it's been out for so long. Like it's been out since before I moved to LA, so I think it came out in like 2015, and they're just giving us the base edition. Yeah, it seems a little bit stingy. I know that's probably not Sony, really, it's the developer saying, no, we're gonna give people the base edition and then hopefully they spend money on the other DLC. Just seems a little bit greedy. They could probably give away a few expansions with the survival edition or whatever it's called at launch, you know, like that just seems fair. And then the game that Sony is considering a bonus game this month is Ghost of Tsushima's Legends mode. Now, we gave them shit last month when they took out the Tiny Tina's Wonderlands DLC from Borderlands 2 and made that a free PS Plus game, but since we're getting 3 other games and this is Ghost of Tsushima we're talking about, I think we can kind of let it slide this time. This is a pretty cool bonus, especially as a good way to get people who have never played Ghost of Tsushima into the game and just to realize how awesome it is. Maybe they'll turn around and pick up the full version of the game. What I want to hear from Sony is if they are going to give people a discount who download the Legends mode on PS Plus, because I know they're going to probably have the argument of, well, we gave you the Legends mode for free, so we're not going to give you a discount on the full game, but they didn't really give it to you for free. You're paying for a subscription. They're giving you what you already paid for. So I'd really like to see them give you at least some sort of discount on the single player portion of the game. But if you've never played the Legends mode of Ghost of Tsushima, it's awesome. It's really cool. It's 3 people PvE, and then they have a raid at the end of it that you're kind of building up to. And from what I've heard, the raid isn't too advanced. It's just really fun and an exciting thing to really sink your teeth into. I think there's about 20 or 30 hours of content here, so to get this included on PS Plus is cool. So overall, I'd say this is an improvement on PS Plus. A lot of these games, to be fair, are on Game Pass, but Ghost Runner on PS5 is a really good showcase of what the PlayStation 5 can do, and it's a single player game that's going to be a ton of fun for a full weekend, which is pretty much all you can ask for from PS Plus, right? You play the game, you enjoy it, you delete it. You don't feel like you dropped 30 or 40 bucks or whatever it cost on the game and then blew through it in a weekend. I feel like that's perfect for a subscription service. So we've been kind of waiting for Sony's answer to Game Pass, right? Like we know they're working on Spartacus, which is kind of like PS3 emulation on the PS5. We know they're probably going to include Crunchyroll and Funimation with PS Plus at some point alongside PS Now, which is like kind of a streaming service, but also you can download PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 games on it. It's kind of weird, but today we now know that they're moving inches and inches closer to competing with Game Pass, because we are finally getting a day one PS Now game that is not going to be on Game Pass, and it seems like a good one, and it's not a first party game either, which is crazy. It's Shadow Warrior 3. If you haven't played any of the Shadow Warrior games, they're really good. They're basically like revived old school shooters, kind of like Doom 2016, but they have a little bit of a comedic edge to them. I played a lot of Shadow Warrior 2 because it was like a co-op looter shooter where you had a hub world, you would go out into levels, replay them, grind out better weapons, but the shooting mechanics were there and the traversal was there. Everything in the gameplay department was exactly how it should be, and on the PlayStation 4 it looked really good. I've been looking forward to Shadow Warrior 3 for a long time. They've released a ton of gameplay of it. It looks incredible. The shooting somehow looks even better than Shadow Warrior 2, and they've kind of stripped back the looter shooter elements to focus on just a few weapons to refine them and make them feel really good to shoot monsters. Other than holding it back just a couple more months, I think releasing it on PS Now day one is really the smartest move that Devolver had for this game, because it's coming out on March 1st. It's competing with Horizon Forbidden West, Elden Ring, kind of Dying Light 2, Destiny 2 The Witch Queen. Like there's a lot of huge games definitely overshadowing this indie shooter, so giving it that little bit of an edge by taking a lump sum from Sony to have it show up on PS Now day one seems like a smart move. I'm just really curious why they didn't do Game Pass over PS Now. Like maybe Sony gave them a better deal because so many people played Shadow Warrior 2 on PS4 when it came out. I don't know. I just thought it was interesting because I think we might have seen this before, but it's been a long time, and I hope we start seeing this even more. It really makes that PS Now subscription feel like it's actually worth it, because the whole streaming PS3 games aspect of it, it's not really worth it to me, honestly. I tried it out a long time ago, right when I started this channel. I couldn't get a single game to run at a solid 30 frames per second. It was super blurry, it was super blocky. It's just not good technology, especially for PS3 games. But downloading PS4 games from it, like Avengers and Final Fantasy Fantasy VII Remake, that kind of seems like some good utility from the service, and to see another publisher, Devolver, instead of Square Enix this time, getting a day one game on there, that's promising. I just hope Sony realizes that people want stuff like this, and they start making more smart moves with games that might get overshadowed by huge releases, but are actually looking really good. Like, again, this is the perfect game to show up on a streaming service.